Are you a current or future physician assistant wanting to learn more about finances? Then join me on this journey to become a PA the FI way. Hi, my name is Kat, and I'm a practicing certified physician assistant who will be your host. It took me 5 years after I started practicing medicine as a PA to thoroughly dive into my personal finances after I discovered the concept of financial independence. I want to use what I have learned to help you avoid some of the financial mistakes that I have made while sharing some of the financial wins that I have had along the way. Join me as we discuss financial strategies to guide you to becoming a physician assistant on the way to financial independence. A warm welcome back to the PA the FI Way podcast. I'm your host, Kat, and I hope you are all having a wonderful spring so far. My husband and I recently returned from a quick spring break trip where we visited beautiful Cancun and burned some travel hacking rewards points in the process to be able to stay at a really nice all-inclusive for free, as well as have our flights covered there round trip for free as well, besides the taxes and fees that are required for those flights. The taxes and fees for our flights were $130 each, which means for $260, we flew round trip from Minnesota down to Cancun. Then our stay at the all-inclusive for 5 days, 4 nights was completely covered. So the only other costs that we had were transportation from the airport to the resort, a few souvenirs, as well as any activities that we decided to do, which we decided to go on a fishing trip. It was really nice to be able to get away, relax, enjoy the beach, have delicious food with 24-hour room service that was all included, as well as reconnect while we celebrated my birthday last month too. The all-inclusive resort was a Hyatt, so we actually combined Chase Sapphire Preferred points that we had on our credit cards, as well as some Hyatt points on a Hyatt credit card that I have as well, because Hyatt is a transfer partner for Chase. The reason why I'm sharing this information is because the Chase Sapphire Preferred just launched their highest points value that cycles every few years. And that is a sign-up bonus of 100,000 points, which are valued at least $1,500, again, depending upon how you use them or which transfer partner you utilize, after you spend $5,000 in qualifying purchases over the next 3 months from when the account was opened. I am sharing this with you guys because this is my favorite travel hacking card. And if you have been interested in opening another personal credit card, or you feel as though your current credit card doesn't give you much value, reach out to me either through a DM on Instagram or Facebook, or send me an email if you would like the referral link to be able to get your sign-up bonus. And then you can use those points for either flights, hotels, all-inclusive resorts in the future to be able to travel with your family, with your friends, with your significant other for the everyday spending that you are already doing. If you do not feel as though you would spend $5,000 over the next 3 months, I absolutely would not recommend this. But if perhaps you have a larger lump sum payment for something, maybe you are working on a remodel or you're wanting to make a larger purchase, but honestly, $5,000 is not difficult to spend if you put all of your monthly spending on a credit card anyway, as long as you pay it off ASAP. I share more about travel hacking way back on episodes 22 and 47, so if you haven't checked out those episodes yet, go ahead and take a listen. After returning from sunny and warm Cancun with the beautiful turquoise blue waters, we came back to Minnesota, and of course, a few days later, we got snow. It went from 70 degrees down to 30-something degrees and snowed. As it always does this time of year, we always get psyched out thinking that true spring is here. And then we realize it really is sprinter, a combination of spring and winter. But the calendar says that it's spring, and true spring weather is right around the corner. This is an excellent time of year to do all sorts of spring cleaning. And this episode is all about spring cleaning your finances in 10 steps. Let's get started. Step number 1 is to organize your financial documents. This can look like gathering as well as figuring out where to store your documents. Do you want to store them in a physical location? If so, if it's at your house, I would encourage a fireproof safe of some sort. Are you wanting to store them digitally? Are you wanting to do both? Some people will do both for their important documents. Make sure that they are stored in a safe and secure location. You want to create a filing system for things like your tax returns, bank statements, investment records, insurance policies, etc. When you are organizing these documents, go ahead and take a look at your tax documents to identify where you're at for this year, as well as review your taxes for last year, and ensure that you have the proper withholdings. I see all the time where people post about how they were surprised how much they owe in taxes. And actually, this also happened to my husband and me several years ago. And it was because that we followed the directions on the new W-4 form, and it told us to have our withholdings set at a certain number, but then we did not withhold enough taxes throughout the year. So we ended up owing thousands of dollars. I know tax season is here. Tax day is right around the corner. So if you were surprised, double check your W-4 withholdings, talk to your tax professional if you have any questions, if you don't quite understand it, to make sure that you and your spouse or you as an individual are withholding enough. Step number 2 is to organize your financial accounts, not just your documents, but your accounts in general. For example, consolidate your accounts. Close any old accounts that are no longer utilized or benefit you. That can include credit cards. For example, I was talking about travel hacking a little bit earlier in the episode. And personally, I have utilized Southwest travel credit cards for both personal credit cards as well as business credit cards in the past. And I earned something called the Companion Pass. The Companion Pass is where not only myself, but a companion can fly free with me on flights. So I would use points to cover my flight, and then a companion was able to fly with me for free as well. And I used that for trips in the past. The Companion Pass is only good for a certain amount of time, and that can change sometimes over the years. So if you're interested in looking into that, just double check Southwest's website about that. Well, recently the annual fees on those credit cards hit my account. And I looked back at how frequently I was utilizing those credit cards, and I had not been utilizing those credit cards over the past year. Additionally, Southwest had come out with recent changes. They're phasing out their open seating policy, implementing assigned seating, which is not that big of a deal. Most airlines use assigned seating, but part of the benefit of Southwest was that checked bags were included in the airfare, and now they're starting to have certain basic fares that you have to pay for your checked bags and all these different changes with Southwest. So I decided at that time that because I was not utilizing those credit cards and because I likely would not be flying Southwest super frequently coming up, I do have one flight coming up that I'll be utilizing them. And I'm not trying to earn the Companion Pass. I had already earned it. I decided to actually close both of those credit cards down. So many people get concerned that this will affect your credit score. If it did affect my credit score, I honestly didn't even notice. It would have been a very slight blip over the past couple months, maybe a dip of a couple or a few points, and then right back up to well over 800. So I'm not concerned closing out credit cards that I'm no longer getting benefit from and that I don't want to pay the annual fee for. Consider if you have old bank accounts too. Maybe you have recently gotten married and now have joint accounts and you have old individual accounts set up. Consider if you want to consolidate all of your accounts, close them out, those types of things too. You can also consider if you want to consolidate your retirement accounts if beneficial for you. For example, way back in episode 114, I talk about the different options that you have with your old 401ks. Those also include other employer-sponsored retirement accounts such as 457s, 403s, those types of things too. But 401ks are the most popular. You don't always have to consolidate them. You don't always have to roll old ones into new ones, but you need to understand what your options are and make the best choice for you in that moment as well. The other way that I want you to organize your financial accounts is to update your beneficiaries. You should check and update beneficiaries for your bank accounts, your insurance policies, such as life insurance, your retirement plans, such as your 401k accounts, your other investments, like your HSA, your Roth IRA. Double check those accounts and get the beneficiaries updated. Maybe you've never selected a beneficiary, or maybe you have a person on there that would have been a beneficiary in the past, but maybe you are no longer married to them. Maybe they have passed away and you no longer want to list them and you want to update your beneficiary. It is so much easier after you pass for your beneficiaries to obtain those funds, that money from you after your passing, if they are listed as a beneficiary. It's easier, but also they get that money more quickly than if they are not listed. Another way to organize your financial accounts is to check for hidden fees. Do you have fees on your investments that you're not aware of, or your credit cards? Or on the flip side of fees that are bad, think about the fees that are good, such as interest rates on high yield savings accounts as well. The next step of getting organized with your financial accounts is to check your Social Security statements, as well as any other financial records for accuracy. My guess is many of you have never done this. There may be some of you that are a little bit more into the nerdy side of finances, like myself, or maybe your parents have encouraged you to do this, or you learned about this from someone. But my guess is this is not a very common thing that you have done, but I want to share it with you. No matter if you are near retirement age, meaning that you would very likely get Social Security right around the corner, or even if you are a new grad, you can actually log into your Social Security account and look at the different information in there. So what you do is you go to www.ssa.gov/myaccount. Then you create an account if you have not done so already. And then you can review your statement and your earnings record. What the earnings record shows you in there is it shows you the detailed record of your yearly earnings because of all of those tax statements that you have provided over the years, as well as your employers have provided over the years too. When I go in there, I see earnings from way back when I was 18. That's the first year that I see earnings recorded. There's 1 year of $0, zero earnings, and that was the year that was smack dab in the middle of PA school. You can review that. You can ensure that the earnings look accurate, because if the earnings are not correct, that can actually affect your future benefits that you get from Social Security. You can work on correcting mistakes if you need to. The other thing that you can do besides looking back at your past earnings is you can look at your estimated future Social Security benefits. Again, if you are a more seasoned PA and retirement is looking to be right around the corner for you, or even if you are just curious about this, no matter your age, you can go in and see what your expected Social Security benefit would be if you were to choose to obtain Social Security earlier in your early 60s, or at an average age in your mid 60s, or if you delay it at full retirement age later in your life as well. Way back on episode 20, I talk more about Social Security. And generally my perspective of Social Security, especially if you are young, is to not put all of your eggs in one basket and believe that you're going to be able to live a fulfilled retirement where you're spending your money fully on those experiences and things that you want to spend your money on while only living off of Social Security. Some people believe that Social Security will not exist by the time that my generation or generations behind me actually reach full retirement age. I lean more towards it probably will exist, but that it's very likely not going to be anywhere enough to sustain my retirement. So how I view it is more so a bonus, meaning extra spending, but not necessarily something that I am 100% counting on for my retirement. And again, that goes back to making sure that you feel fully empowered and knowledgeable about ensuring that you are set up for your retirement too, no matter your age. If you didn't quite catch that information about the Social Security website or any of the information so far, I'm actually going to include a free checklist for you that has all of these 10 steps for spring cleaning for your finances in the show notes for today's episode. So go ahead, take a look at the show notes, find the link, and download your free copy. It'll be set up as a nice checklist for you and have all this information, so you don't have to frantically write down websites or notes as I'm going. Step number 3 is to declutter your budget. Take the time to review your current financial habits, your current financial spending and eliminate your wasteful expenses. For example, take a look back at the last 3 to 6 months, review every dollar that was spent, and you can categorize your spending as well for things like wants or needs or investments, paying off debt. It can be so easy to forget what you spent your money on over the past few months, but if you have not done so recently, go ahead and take a look at it. You can review your credit card statements. You can review any tracker if you use a tracker. And again, always be asking yourself, am I spending my money mindfully and intentionally on these purchases? If you're not, I want you to eliminate those wasteful expenses. For example, do you have subscriptions that you no longer use or that no longer benefit you? Were there impulsive purchases over the past few months that only brought you a quick hit of dopamine and the benefit was not long lasting? As you're reviewing your budget, also ensure that you're optimizing recurring expenses. Things like your auto insurance, your home insurance, your utility bills, the subscriptions that you do want to keep. Are those optimized? Do you need to shop around for lower rates? Do you need to try to negotiate your rates? Double check those things for accuracy as well as pricing. To help you with your budget, go ahead and take a listen to episode 27 to learn about the different budget options, as well as episode 128 for tips to reduce impulsive spending if that sounds helpful for you. Step number 4 for spring cleaning your finances is to automate your finances. Automation saves you time and reduces stress. It can sometimes save you money as well if you're avoiding late fees. If bills are automated, credit card payments are automated, you can often avoid late fees too. You can also automate savings. For example, emergency funds, sinking funds. You can automate your debt payments as well as your investments. It's so true that automation has so many benefits, but one of the main benefits that it has is that if the money never actually hits your bank account, then you literally cannot spend it on something else, right? So if you get into the habit of automating your investments to pay yourself first or your debt payments to pay off your high interest debt aggressively and quickly, then you cannot spend your money on other things as well. You can check out episode 23 to learn more about automating your finances as well. Step number 5 is to review and optimize your debt strategy. So we just touched on debt a little bit, but it's really important that you take the time to review all of your interest rates of your debt. Do you have debt that has high interest rates? Especially credit cards. Credit cards are notorious for interest rates close to or above 20%, which is absolutely outrageous. But sometimes people have other types of loans that have high interest as well. Any of your high interest debt, go ahead and get that paid off ASAP. Depending upon the type of debt, you could consider refinancing or consolidating for potentially better interest rates if you need to. Sometimes you can even negotiate with the lenders to get a better interest rate too. Step number 6 is to plan for your future financial goals. Take the time to align your financial strategy with your current needs as well as your future needs for your financial goals. You want to ensure that your financial goals are SMART, which is the acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, meaning how quickly do you want to pay off your debt? How are you going to do this? What amount are you going to pay per month? Is it actually achievable and realistic for you? Then also plan for future expenses. Do you have any home repairs or home maintenance coming up that you know about? Do you need to start a sinking fund for those things? Do you have known tax payments that are going to hit right around the corner here? Do you have tuition coming up for either yourself or for your kids? Or do you have known planned travel, vacations, those types of things? You can continue to plan for your financial goals by scheduling routine financial check-ins every few months as well. It's also encouraged that you update your estate plans, especially if you have dependents. Do you have a will? Do you have a trust? Do you have a power of attorney? Do you need to implement these or update them as well? If you'd like to learn more about setting financial goals for your life, you can take a listen to episode 87. Step number 7 is to review and update your insurance policies. It's important that you have insurance coverage when needed, but it's also essential that you're not overpaying on the insurance. So take a look at things like medical insurance, auto insurance, home insurance, life insurance. If term life insurance is needed, disability insurance if needed, umbrella insurance if needed, to see if they match your needs as well. You can check for different policy discounts or better rates. You could look at different providers for insurance policies to compare. You can also use an agent that does that for you, where they are looking at several different types of insurance companies on your behalf to find you the best rate. You can also adjust your coverage. Do you have a type of insurance that you no longer need, or that you can lower the amount as your wealth has built over time? Because ultimately, your investments and your savings and your own wealth can help you self-insure for many of these things as well. Episode 14 covers more about insurance if you'd like to take a listen. Step number 8 for spring cleaning your finances is to rebalance and optimize your investments. It's important that your overall investment portfolio aligns with your financial goals. You need to know what you are invested in. So many people know that they have certain types of investment accounts, but they have absolutely no idea what their investments within those accounts actually consist of. If you do not know this, I encourage you to take a little bit of time to learn and understand how to figure out if you like what you are invested in. Also, take a look at those fees. Sometimes the investment might look good initially, but then you discover that the fees are really high, eating into the growth of your investments. You also want to ensure that you are comfortable with your asset allocation based on your risk tolerance. What does that mean? It means that if you feel as though you are going to be retiring relatively soon, you likely want to be a little bit more conservative than someone that plans to be working for many more years or needs their investments to continue to compound and grow over many more years. So sometimes people will add bonds to their overall investments to help make it a little bit more conservative so that the investments aren't going up and down, aren't quite as volatile versus someone with a more aggressive asset allocation. Although I plan on having the option to retire early compared to my 60s or my 70s, I still have a very aggressive asset allocation because I am relatively young and I know that my investments, I want them to stay growing and stay compounding aggressively over the years too. You can also rebalance your portfolios to make sure that your asset allocation is what you want, as well as your overall diversification of those assets. Meaning, if one type of investment is doing really, really well, sometimes people will rebalance by selling some of that off and purchasing other types of investments within their portfolio, which sounds a bit counterintuitive. Sometimes people are invested in target date funds, and those target date funds help with rebalancing your portfolio over the years too as you get closer to the target date that was selected. It's also important when you are reviewing your overall investments that you make sure that you're maximizing your employer benefits. For example, ensure you're getting the full 100% match for your 401k or again, similar account like a 403, 457, those types of things. And consider maxing out your 401k, especially if you've paid off your debt, you have your Roth IRA funded, your HSA funded, those types of things too. Double check through your employer about an HSA or an FSA as an option as well. Step number 9 for spring cleaning your finances is to protect your financial data. It's essential that you keep your money secure as well as your personal information secure. Unfortunately, nowadays it's so common where there is fraud. You can check your credit reports through the 3 main companies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and ensure that you don't see any errors or fraud. Then you can also freeze those credit accounts with all 3 of those companies. However, if you're going to be applying for a new credit card or you're going to be taking out a loan or mortgage or something like that, then those instances, your credit is run. So your credit should not be frozen because the companies need to check to see what your credit is. And you need your credit to be available to be able to do those things. It's very easy within those websites to freeze and unfreeze your credit though. So keep it frozen when you're not using it. And then remember to unfreeze it when you do need it. And then go back in and refreeze it afterwards. That helps prevent fraud. It's also really important that you use strong passwords and multi-factor authentication for financial accounts too. Getting that 6-digit code texted to you or emailed to you can be annoying, but It's a good reminder to yourself that it's just one extra step to ensure that your accounts stay secure. Episode 82 covers more about freezing your credit if you would like to check that out as well. And then finally, step number 10 for spring cleaning your finances is the reminder to focus on your health as wealth. Remember to invest in your physical health, your mental health on your way to financial independence. When you are reviewing your budget, check to see which wellness activities are budgeted for. For example, things like fitness classes, gym memberships, different types of therapy, preventative healthcare, self-care, etc. Don't neglect your health on the way to building your wealth. I'll say that over and over and over again. Episodes 19 and 146 talk more about investing in your health as well. Remember to go to the show notes to get your free copy of this checklist, the 10 steps for spring cleaning your finances, and think about if you need to review all 10 steps or are there only 3 certain steps you really need to focus on this time of year. Regardless, whichever steps you need to review and implement, take action, they will help you have a cleaner, more efficient financial system that helps set you up for success on your way to financial independence. I hope you found this episode to be helpful and insightful. If so, go ahead and share it with your significant other, your family, your friends, your colleagues, so they can get their finances in order this time of year as well. It would also be so helpful if you took 5 seconds out of your day to go ahead and rate the podcast wherever you're listening to this on and leave a review about what you found helpful too. I appreciate you so much taking the time to take a listen, and your future self will definitely thank you for all of the action that you take to ensure your finances are in order. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here soon. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you decide to continue to join me along this journey of becoming a PA the FI way. Please take a moment to press the subscribe button on the platform that you are listening to this on, but more importantly, consider sharing with another current or future PA that could benefit from the information that we reviewed in this episode. Take care and have a great rest of your day. Until next time.